Hi guys, welcome to a video which presents to you the game 12, or you can call it the round 12 of the match between Kasparov and Anand in 1995. A quick summary of what has been happening from round 1 to round 11. From round 1, we saw a series of draws between Kasparov and Anand. Game 1 to game 8 were all drawn games. So keeping the scores tied between the two players. In round 9 or game 9, it was Anand who drew the first blood, securing a victory. Game 10, Kasparov equalized and the game became a tie. Round 10 ended by Kasparov winning. Then in round 11, Kasparov also won, now making the tournament exciting such that we have a leader. Making the match exciting because now we have a leader between the two strong super grandmasters back then in 1995. So this is round 12 or game 12 to say. I'm trying to make you familiar with what is round and what is game. This is a match played between two players. So round is still equal to game. You get it? So even if it's a match played between 10 players, the round they play at that moment carries a game for that round. So that game and the round is still the same number. Game 12 is round 12. Well, skipping that, let's jump right head into this game 12. In game 12, Kasparov will play the white pieces, and in this game 12, Anand will be playing the black pieces. Kasparov chooses to go the aggressive way with pawn to e4. Anand e5 stops the pawn to advance. We have knight to f3 attacking the pawn, knight to c6 defending the pawn, bishop to b5, the Ruy Lopez, or you can call it the Spanish game. After a6 attacking that bishop, bishop to a4, knight to f6 going after this pawn. White castles. Now the concept of castling will be seen in next few moves. Anand attacks the bishop with b5. Bishop to b3 to safety. Bishop to c5. Now the bishop is active. Black is ready to castle the short side. a4 follows, countering this pawn chain to scatter that pawn chain. Here, bishop to b7, d3, d6, knight to c3, b4 attacking the knight, knight to d5 for safety, knight to a5 going after the bishop, opening some sort of pressure on this square, d5. In this position, let's talk about the tactical idea here. It is possible for white to continue with the best move. However, let's talk about if let's say bishop was developed to a square like this, or let's say this square. This square is very active, very proactive, yes. Prevent the movement of the knight. Well, let's go back and talk about this particular move. It's just for the purpose of this tactical idea. Knight takes the bishop, removing one of the defender of the square, d5. Pawn takes, either the bishop takes or the knight takes. Let's go with the knight takes, pawn takes, then bishop takes. So you can easily see it from here. The reason for that move, you see, black has gotten one pawn. In the game, what continued was knight takes the knight on f6 with check. This was how Garry Kasparov chose to continue from that position. Queen took the knight on f6, not damaging the pawn structure, because if pawn takes, you can see weaknesses here, and this is open. The king wants to castle to that location, so you don't want to open this g file that very early. So queen took the knight on f6 instead. Bishop to a2 comes up, retreating the bishop to safety to avoid the knight from taking and causing weaknesses here or doubled pawn. H6, preventing the bishop from coming out to g5 to harass the black queen. C3, pawn takes on c3, pawn takes on c3, black castles the king to safety. Bishop to e3 comes up, rook on a to d8, rook to b1, placing the rook on this location. This is an example of a positional play. Keeping this rook here prepares a capture of the bishop if the knight moves away to some locations. Most players forget pieces, but these are grandmasters. That's why we are learning their game. In fact, that's why it is best for study. What did Anand do from this position? First of all, he removed that bishop to c8, keeping the bishop away from the attack of this strong rook on the b file. Here, queen to e2 comes up. Bishop goes to e6, countering this active light squared bishop from the white. Here, h3. Bishop takes on a2, queen takes on a2, bishop takes on e3, pawn takes on e3. Queen to e6 comes up, going for a queen exchange on move 20. Kasparov took the queen on e6, pawn takes on a6. Rook goes to b4. The rook temporarily defends the pawn and also vacates the b1 square so that the second rook can occupy that square, therefore allowing white to take full control of this b file. Rook to b8, countering that rook. Rook on h to b1, supporting the rook and having full influence over the b file. Knight to c6, attacking this rook. Rook to b7, keeping the rook on b7 prevent the black rook from penetrating, and at the same time is attacking this particular pawn, then is giving room for the second rook to have freedom along the b file. The rook on b goes to c8, king to f2, activating the king and making it a fighting piece in the endgame. Rook to f7, king to e2, rook on c to f8, d4, g5 comes up, king to d3, rook to g7, d5, pawn takes on d5, pawn takes on d5, g4. In this position, I anticipated pawn takes and pawn takes. Rather, in the game, what I saw was very educating and very educative. Well, pawn takes on c6 first. Going after taking this particular knight instantly is the idea. However, what I saw was e4 check. This is a new one to me. So I believe somebody watching this will learn from this. This check kicks the king to the open. Pawn now take the knight on f3. Pawn takes on f3. Here, rook to e7, check. This is Anand aggressive style. King to d4. Rook takes the pawn on f3. e4 follows. Now rook takes on h3. There is now an idea on the board where the two parties have pawns. This pawn is very strong and this pawn is also strong. However, this is stronger. To me, I see this pawn as a strong pawn because this the white pawn on a4 at the moment is still blocked by the pawn on a6. White needs to remove it. So white needs to lose or waste some move, like check, king moves down to any of these squares, then comes here to pick the pawn before the pawn moves. However, there is a simple move like rook slide. They start pushing the pawn, putting the rook at the back. From here, that is my own concept and idea. What did these grandmasters employ? In a position like this, rook takes on c7, what was Kasparov played on move 36. Very shocking sacrifice. What do you think is his plan? You will see it in the next few moves. The idea is simple because Anand captured the rook, so we can see the idea from here. Rook to b8 check comes up first, which will kick the king away from this particular rank entirely to the 7th rank. So the king goes to f7 instead. So he played rook to b7. Now look at how dangerous the rook sacrifice was and what it has created on the board. In this position, the rook is now pinned on c7, making it very dangerous if rook had captured. Pawn will take and is one square away from promotion. Nothing can stop the pawn at the moment. So that was the whole concept and the main variation, the main line behind rook sacrifice. However, because these players are prepared for the match, one, they are super grandmasters too. Their calculation and visual strength are different from upcoming and rising chess players. So they will easily know these things and they are aware of what is going on. In this case, rook to e7 comes up. Then c7 followed with the threat of pawn push to become a queen. This is where Anand gave back material by taking the pawn on c7. Here rook takes on c7 with check, leaving the game to become rook, pawns and king endgame for the both side. King goes to e6 to defend this pawn. Rook moves to a7 with the threat of taking the pawn, moving the rook and creating a passed pawn, potentially a queen. h5 follows. Rook takes on a6, rook to h1. After rook to a8, there is h4. In this position, Kasparov and Anand agreed to a draw after move for 3 in the game 12 in their match played in 1995. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed this content, do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more, like and share to your friends.